Mr. Arthur Slade, you, sir, have just earned my undying devotion. This book blew my mind. Okay, bookworms, I'm going to give you 3 reasons why you need to read the Hunchback Assignments. Jekyll and Hyde, Hunchback of Notre Dame, and Frankenstein. Do you really need more than that? Slade doesn't so much recycle these classics as borrow a single element or basic idea from one of their iconic characters to fuel his own original notion. It reminded me a lot of The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, the movie, not the graphic novels. I'm sorry, but the graphic novels were crass and horrible. Slade's allusions to the classics are very subtle. For example, there's a character in here who I think is his version of Captain Hook, but there are only like 2 similarities, so I really can't be sure. After you read this, be sure to tell me if I'm crazy or whether there really is some Hookism in there. Also, I think there might have been some Phantom of the Opera and Sherlock Holmes influences, but again, so subtle. I think one day Slade decided to stick his favorite books into a blender, add his own creative genius sauce, and hit frappe just to see what would happen. I loved this story. Hunchback Assignments may owe its essence to books from a bygone age, but it speaks for itself, wrapped up in an old familiar package that's a comfort to bookworms. If you have ever read and loved a classic, you need to read this book. The first few chapters deal with the character Modo growing up. I was so relieved that Slade didn't drag me all through his training and upbringing. I have a real problem with hero training scenes just because they seem so dull and boring half the time. Slade doesn't dwell on this. Instead, he gives a glimpse into Modo's upbringing and then plows right past it into the rest of the story. Slade does a very good job of keeping me interested in the moment, providing just the right amount of description throughout the book, and always through the conscious perspective of an appropriate character. Probably the only part of the story that caused a negative reaction in me is that Modo often spits great gobs of mucus, and okay, he's 14 and he's a guy, but still, gross. I've already talked so much about how awesome the general idea of the story is, but I also want to mention that the plot is well presented. Slade leads up to the finale well, keeping us guessing with the clues that the heroes find, as well as giving us a few sneak peeks into the villain's lair. Character development is excellent, and there is a whole slew of colorful characters that I can't wait to dig deeper into. I will caution younger readers just because there is some human experimentation involved in this book. It's not graphic or gory, but I mean, it's kind of disturbing, so I just want to give you a heads up. The Hunchback Assignments by Arthur Slade gets 5 stars, so while you're adding this as your next book to read, I am off to grab the sequel.